June 18th, 2016. That's my husband Michael Dowd standing next to the white oak. This is a small garden area of Dawes Arboretum very close to the entrance. The entrance is over there and people come down the road through there, and then the parking area and the visitor center are back there. But this is the area that's just spectacular for Torreya taxifolia, the Florida Torreya. Now before we get to there, Michael, could you first walk down? There are two specimens of Torreya grandis. This is the Chinese Torreya, and I'll take a close-up look at that later. It's really sprawling to the side, and come to the next one here too. You see the contrast of the dark green vegetation that would have been prior year's growth, and then this year, new growth, light green. Last year we had the exact reverse because this one showed no bud expansion at all. Everything was dark green on the Torreya grandis, the Chinese Torreya. But right over here, and Michael, you can walk there now, we have two Torreya taxifolia specimens, and they had the expanded, not quite that far, but expanded buds that were light green. Now, June 18th, the color is just about the same. You can still see the softness and freshness of it, but these are fully expanded. So 2 years in a row, we show very much that they have different timings on when they expand. One might think that this is more programmed for a colder environment, higher latitudes, than this one is, because this expanded first. And then back there, Michael, how tall does that one go? Okay, I'm going to take a close-up view now and talk about each of these, because since I had a view last year, and exactly a year and 1 month later, I have another view. I can very exactly point out how much it's capable of growing in a single year. So we'll first take a look at this one. This one's directly here. Oh, and before I get here, let me just point out here. What we have here is a Japanese maple, genus Acer. And genus Acer, we now know, we didn't know then, we now know is one of the genera that has the same mycorrhizal beneficial symbiotic root fungi that helps the trees thrive, as does Torreya. So we're very lucky to have this maple right here, Torreya here, another Torreya over there, and then of course the grandis here. The other things that we have in this area are other conifers. I know that one over there was called a Japanese arbor vitae. But here, doing a rotation around here, you can see those are the conifers. And as I come over here to this Torreya, I'll first take a look straight up. Oh, we've got a few hostas in here too. And some Virginia creepers on the ground. I did see, yes, right over there, center of the picture, a jack in the pulpit. I don't know what those others are, but you can see right around there it's not tended at all. So I'm going to stand right here by the Torreya, and I'm going to look straight up, and you're going to see what it gets. Looks like the sun is probably close to noon right now, June 18th, 2016. You see a bit of sun hits up there. There's the sun. Here's the canopy. And so this would be south. In the morning, here's what you would get. And then here we are. Oh, maybe this is south in this direction. And then here's what we would get. over here. Okay, again, that's the grandis, Torreya grandis there. So, I just looked at my video again from last year so I can explain exactly what was here before and what we have now. Last year, what we had was this single, well, actually these four here. These existed at that time. This was just a terminal bud last year, just getting ready. I knew it was going to shoot up last year. And along each of these we had triplets, and you can see that it put out 3. These would have been produced last year. 1, 2, 3 over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 over here. And then this year, the new growth is again here. 1, 2, 3 added on. This is a 2 added on. This would have been the 3. Here's a 1, 2, 3 added on. And here's a big, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 quad added on to the center of what would have been a 1, 2, 3 last year. And then here's another 1, 2, 3 and another 1, 2, 3 this year. So basically triplets. But here's what happened last year. We had this area, again, the middle zone come out as a triplet. This was just a sign that it was going to shoot up. So last summer it shot up. This is the amount it shot up. And what's fascinating is after it shot up last summer, it also put on these 3 initial laterals out to here. Boom, boom, out to here. Ooh, maybe out to here too. And this year, what it's already put on are these triplet areas. That's a quad, it looks like. This is another triplet over here. But basically, triples or quads on this threesome here. And it's put up another area right here. So what I would guess is going to happen is that this year, after this settles out, I can't tell, it looks like it might keep going higher. Wow, it might really shoot up. But then I bet at the end of the summer or in the fall, it's going to put out a set of laterals too. And then we'll have another shooting up. So it looks like this one is on a program of, at the beginning of summer, you set up an apex, a vertical right out of the center. Later in the summer, you do your lateral. Then you do it again, another one. And meanwhile, you put on triplets here. So this is how it looks like here. And then looking down. Now what I have noticed here, there are a total of 2 basal sprouts. This one put on a huge terminal this year. Let me move over here to where it can be seen. Right here. This is new growth, terminal this year out of the basal. This is another basal under here that would have put out a terminal last year, and here we've got laterals coming out. And that is not a sign of unhealth. That is just natural for a Torrey. They are survivors. If anything happens to the top, those basals will be ready to go. And look what we've suddenly got here. Yes, that is a shining bit of sunlight coming on there. So even a canopy that is this shaded can have sun dappling in. What I would say from looking at both of these Torreys is that basically deciduous shade is fabulous. And what we know as well, I'll take a look later on, but there's no sign last year and no sign this year at all of anti-winter freezing, desiccation, any destruction, not at all. This area was fully protected. We got a little height here. We're in a bit of a hollow, fully protected. Certainly these conifers would have helped as well. This row of conifers would have helped as well. fully protected from wintertime cold. I think here at Dawes Arboretum we have a perfect situation to see, at least in central Ohio, where you want to plant. So let's take a look over here. This is the other Torreya taxifolia. Again, these came from Lee Barnes, the 2006 fall crop, donated by Bill Alexander, the historian at the Biltmore Gardens near Asheville, North Carolina, with their old trees that were planted back in the 30s. Okay, so what we had last year here is exactly the same thing. Is that last year we had this area here would have been just evidence of a terminal. So this grew last summer. We already had this first set of laterals. I'll give an example here. This was in existence last year, and they had triplets that grew here. And then out on the ends of each of those triplets, this is a new growth this spring. And this one here just has a doublet, that's a doublet, but generally the center of the triplets that come out have, in this case it's a quad that came out. Here was a triplet last year here, we got another triplet. We had a doublet come out there and another doublet. And so this grew last year, the triplets grew last year, the middle triplets, and then this new grew this year. So this was last year, and then again, the first, after this is grown, the same summer, this first, we'll do a top down here, this first area, there was 4 of them. Oops, not this one. This one's new this year. Okay, these 3, and then it grew this year, plus doublet here, triplet here, doublet here, and this is already coming up. So what we see in terms of the height, every year we start, on both of these plants are on the same schedule. We start with a vertical, and this one's going to keep going. It's not done yet. We start with a vertical, and later in the summer it puts out that first set of laterals. Take a look down through this one here. You can see the colors that things turn when they turn brown. Last year's vertical growth up is still a green, a bit darker green than the new growth, but it's still a green. Then it turns brown. In here. Oh, and yes, I see quite a glorious basal in there. There, you can see that other brown stem off at the back. Let's take a look around here. And we can see in this basal, right here, that it has put up 4 laterals, and look, it's got a new little terminal coming up this year too. These are extraordinarily healthy. The Dawes sure knows how to germinate them. Got them out here in perfect condition, and there have been 2 pretty extravagantly cold winters, not in terms of long cold winters, but certainly at least -10s that these had to sustain. So let's take a quick peek over here, just to top down on the grandis, and you'll see that even though, because they're rooted cuttings, they'll never become trees, they'll just stay shrubby. That the branchlets that were cutted and rooted retain a memory of my job is to grow horizontally. They're going to keep doing that, but look at the bright green. Bright green this time of year. Very healthy here too, with new growth that the Chinese Torreya is putting out here. Just beautiful. Now something interesting is happening here. Let me take a look. Oh, but again, this was a branch, so this doesn't count. It still thinks it's a branch, so it's got going right along the ground base there. This one has one coming out of here. Branches that have new growth and are continuing. So here's the glorious white oak, and here's where we have our two Florida Torreyas. May the forest be with you. June 18th, 2016. This is where the final Torreya that I filmed in May 2015 was. And we are in White Pine Grove here. Road is right over behind us there. And whether it could have survived or not, it was obviously not in a good spot. So the staff has removed it. Experiments that don't work are just as important as experiments that do, and so I'm sure that the Dawes, any additional ones they do, they will be planting in deciduous forest and certainly blocking the polar winds coming across here.